it's time to talk managers, because let's face it, some are great, some are nightmares, and most are somewhere in between. We know plenty of managers are watching, so listen up, because if a business wants to stay competitive, it has to be managed properly. And we've got our expert here to tell us what makes a great manager. Mary Abbajay, our resident business coach from Careerstone. You've got a list of some of the most important qualities in a manager, and let's start with number one, the balance that good managers have to have between productivity and positivity. It's that second part that's tricky.
And the second part is tricky, and so often what we do in our workplaces is we hire people into management positions who are technically really great at something. They got their productivity handled. But when you're a manager, you're managing people as well as projects. So you've got to keep a positive atmosphere in your workplace. It's called employee engagement. Without it, productivity will go down.
And I like to think that in Washington we have a high productivity. We are kind of probably the capital of maybe not Capitol Hill, but for the rest of the workforce, pretty type A. But that positivity can be a bit of a challenge. So you also say have your communication skills, because that can be central to your productivity and positivity.
It is, because if you're not communicating with your people and communicating well and communicating in a way that draws people to you, right, and creates goodwill and creates knowledge, then you are going to fail at your job. You have to communicate, and you have to adapt your style, when we talked about Myers-Briggs, to your different styles of your people. So you have to have more than one communication style.
Two that I want you to explain on your list. First one, the ability to build relationships up, down, and across. What do you mean by that?
Well, so the workplace is a social system, right? And you get work done with other people, sometimes around them, but often with them. So if you're going to be a great manager, you need to build relationships with your staff, right? People don't leave organizations because they hate the organizations. It's still the number one reason people leave their jobs is they don't like their manager. You've got to build relationships with them.
But be careful how you build relationships. There's also the problem of some managers that want to go out drinking every night with some people on the staff and play favorites.
Right. You're not building love relationships, you know. You're building strong professionals. It is, but you have to know what's important to people, and they have to feel like they have your back. You also have to build relationships across with your peers and above you as well, because you are only successful in your domain as you can interrelate and collaborate with other people.
Got it. Develop and motivate staff. That falls into some of the other things you're talking about, individuals as well as teams. Reward and recognize. Now, I have to say, I'm a bit of a skeptic about this area, because I have to say our station does a good job of trying to give out monthly employment awards and recognize, but I'm a bit of a cynic. I just think, you know, really, we get a gold sticker. I'd rather people be motivated to perform every day.
Well, and this is one of the challenges, big challenges for managing. So people need to be rewarded and they need to be recognized. The trick is how to do it so it feels authentic and real and not canned. And the other thing is, what's a reward to you may look very different than a reward to me or recognition. So some of the simplest things that you can do is find out, first of all, what's meaningful to your employees and offer them that. Or maybe just saying publicly, Rebecca did a great job, or thank you. Like, it can be those little pats on the back.
I think when you single out people, then other people think, well, what about me? I did this and this and this. So I think it's good to spread it out.
It is. You got to spread it out. But if people feel underappreciated, they will stop being high performers.
That is true. Ability to manage up. What does that mean?
This is about building an effective relationship with the powers above you in order to give your boss what they want, for you to get what you want, and to give the organization what it wants. Like it or not, all of us, even managers, have a manager above us, and you have to understand and build a strong relationship with that manager. It's not about brown-nosing, it's about building a collaborative relationship.
I think that's one of the trickiest things, I will say, for managers, and I don't envy them. I've been in that position before, and now luckily I'm kind of an answer to a manager, but do my own thing. So it's tricky to have a good relationship with the boss without looking to your underlings like you're just doing the boss's bidding, or to have a good relationship with your underlings while still looking to the boss like you are on their side delivering for them.
That's exactly right. You are in the middle. You're like Moe and Larry, Moe and Curly. Like, you're in the middle. You're getting it from both ends. And the only way you can survive and be effective is if you build authentic, powerful, professional relationships with both sides. So both ends feel they're being heard and attended to, because you are going to be the middleman.
It's not always the most fun job.
No, it's not.
And you can't always have the most friends of anyone in the office.
Well, and that's something really important. You have to be really careful when you build relationships that you're not becoming friends with your employees. That's a wholly different animal.
The time I had the most management responsibility, I had the fewest friends, but probably as it should be. I got along with everyone. I just didn't feel like then I could then socialize.
Yeah, because you have to be careful about that. You're right, because that's a whole ball of wax you don't want to go into.
We'll do that a whole nother show. Mary Abbajay, thanks as always for joining us.
Thanks,
We'll see you
Rebecca.
again next time. And stay with us. Up next, is now a better time to get a bank loan to buy a house or expand your business? We'll talk that and much more in the roundtable coming up right after the break.